Yo, it's Guido coming at you with a tactics talk, and I've got my Tank Museum hat. Thank you, Pilgrim. I'd forgotten all about this. Was looking for a hat because my hair is getting shaggy. Went back to the hat area, got a couple little baskets for hats, and realized this was in there, man. I haven't worn it very much, so once again, thank you. I believe this was a gift from last year, potentially, or maybe a birthday. I'm not sure, but anyway, pretty cool. Got the little guys moving along, and then they turn into a tank. Hey guys, I had a fairly controversial video a few days back, however long ago it was since the video about Meatshield tactics came out, and the platoon that I was talking about took a bit of issue with some of the things I said, and we had a bit of a back and forth on chat, both in game and via, I believe, the comments in YouTube, which is all fair enough. I will say that I did mention multiple times that they did a good job, they won the game, all that good stuff. But I'm not necessarily here to rehash that, but I do want to talk about a situation where I kind of did the same thing, and this is the game right here in my Basoto. And also, probably more importantly, about perception, because there were other comments, not just from the platoon right there, but once again, let me say, did a nice job and won the game. Perception in terms of how people play the game. So the last video was the Meatshield thing. A couple bad shots right there by me. The definition of Meatshield was interesting for a lot of you guys. Some people said, no, being a Meatshield or the Meatshield tactic is more when you're in a localized area and you kind of hang out behind your buddies that are right nearby. I thought that was interesting. I mean, I think it's possible you could, well, not possible, you can certainly call that one of the Meatshield tactics. But I think I was talking more about the general idea that you hang out further back, or in any situation where you let somebody else do some of the work that you could potentially do. And that's where we're going to get to on this one. You'll notice that there's an Invil player, Big Mungo Small Brain or something like that. Yeah. And he's in his TS5, top tier, has a great game, does a nice job. But as we get towards the back, or the end of this match, we're going to see a situation where he could very easily do a video about me, the clown in the Basoto, and how that guy left him out to dry. So we're going to take a look at this. We're getting some shots. This is fairly typical spot right here. It's not a bad casemate TD spot. I am bottom tier in the tier 6, but I really like this little tier 6. Not a massive casemate fan, but this one's fun just because at tier 6 it's dropping like 300 alpha, which is pretty funny. Has quite a long reload, and it's got some good camo. So you can do some pretty cool things. Kind of like that. Oh, there we go. Kind of lucky, actually, because I was there for quite a while. Obviously, when the light goes off, you've been there for 3 seconds. Then I goofed around trying to get a shot. So I'm glad I didn't get nuked from that. So we've done a couple bits of damage there, a couple shots of damage. We've got 4 guys dead. I am up front working as best I can to get shot. So in this part of the game, certainly happy with my performance so far. Bit of a bummer, probably hit the ground. I didn't really have a highlight. They're pushing down there in the city, and I think I'm gonna, no, I might get this shot, or maybe I do miss it. Yeah, hits the wall, that's a bummer. Could have been a nice 300 on the side of the prototype back there. So he tries to come out and get another shot, but gets thumped by a smaller alpha gun. And we're doing okay. We're down 2,000. We're down some tanks. Position-wise, we're all right. It's not looking great over in the city right there. The TS5's doing great work. Right where he needs to be, in my opinion, anyway. Right where the battle is, and using that big gun and that good armor. We take out one of their 8s, another tank. They happen to get 2 of ours, though, unfortunately. Now things are getting a little bit scary. So I'm going to move up here and see if I can't light these guys who might be hiding against the side of these walls. Not a fantastic idea because we don't own the middle anymore. So we'll come in here and I'll find the burr. And I'm really kind of hoping the T20, the FCM, might be able to get in there, but they've got a lot of tanks, right? There's still some guys camping in the back. T20's trying to do what he can. I'm lit, so if somebody comes around the corner, like this guy, they might have shots on me. He doesn't really look like he's aiming at me, though. I think he's shooting at the T20, so we put one on him. The Barask dies, that's good. So we're starting to make a bit of a comeback right there. TS5's fallen back. Probably a smart idea, because if he gets swarmed, it's pretty easy to kill a TS5, provided there's enough of them to get around. There is a Skoda T56. Pretty tough tank, but he's lost some hit points. I'm trying to find a way to kill this Type 58. So far, not that big a deal. Back to the Meatshield tactic, though. You know, I think I was talking, not I think, but I was definitely talking a little bit more about playing the entire game as if it's the Meatshield tactic. I guess as an idea that the standard gameplay for you is that you hang back in everything at all times, and you never let the hub players catch you out or not support you, because you never overextend, and that is a valid tactic. Then there's the Meatshield piece, where what I'm doing right now is I don't feel like that's a good position anymore. I am absolutely leaving the JPZ4 out to dry, because I know those guys are coming. Also, a valid tactic. He should probably be trying to get away, although he probably can't because he was a little too far forward. I'm going to come back around here and jump in the bush. The TS5, meanwhile, is down the city, and he's still fighting. He's got the Caro. He's trying to take as many of these guys out as he can. Michael, please get out of the way. There we go. We get rid of him, and we'll keep on backing. So basically just fighting backwards. I get spotted. That is no good. So the Super Chaffee was in the bushes right there. Good news is there are not enough guys on the 0 column to nuke me. Just the Cromwell over there already takes a stab, and now I'm going to the standard bush in the back. So I have switched now to the more tactical, it's a situation that requires it, in my opinion, the Meatshield thing. I'm going to hang back here. I'm going to hope that the guys, in this case 2 Artie and the TS5, can handle that. Alright, so what should I have done potentially? I think what I really should have done is head down and helped old Big Mungo Small Brain down there. But I have basically retreated into that. Screw these guys. I'm going to try to get as much damage as I can. I.e., the door has shut on the win in my brain, and I'm thinking I'm just going to try to get damage. And maybe I hope maybe the TS5 kills that guy. Maybe he doesn't. Not going to worry about it, and I'll try to kill a couple of these guys, and maybe we can come up with a win. Whereas that's where I'm talking about when you're doing Meatshield stuff, whether it's your general, I go in every battle, do this, or I have shifted to that because the situation warrants it. That is a very, and I'm going to say the word selfish, and that's not necessarily pejorative, but it is what's happening. You're being selfish with your own hit points, trying to get as many points of damage and experience as you can, as opposed to doing what you need to win. Now, some people argue this is what you need to do to win, but I would argue I should have been down there helping the TS5. Right? So I think it's important when you are critiquing people, debrief style stuff, and this actually came up in the comments. One of the guys down there is actually also a former F-15 pilot. He's been there, done that, seen those debriefs. They can be brutal, but they're honest. So you want to be able to critique yourself. Sometimes you don't see the things that you're doing until somebody else critiques it. But in general, you want to be able to look at these things and go, all right, what did I do that was wrong? Yes, I can critique somebody else, and that makes that critique valid, okay, provided it's supported with enough facts and information. That's very important, and probably a video for a whole nother day. But at the same time, you want to be able to listen to other people and the things that they may have to say. So the TS5 is obviously spotted, and I finally kind of come out of that back spot, and about right here, I was thinking, man, I really should have gone and helped him down there. We probably could have killed them off pretty quickly. I had some hit points to give, not a bunch, but certainly more than him. He's got better armor, but that would complicate the enemy team's situation. I finally push up here. I'm like, okay, I have to take some pressure off the TS5. I got to find this guy, this Super Chaffee. If we can kill him, we can get the Artie. I do find him. Kind of a spastic shot, and I make another mistake. I'm like, screw it. I don't want to get hit by Artie. I'm going to pull back here. Hopefully the TS5 can get this guy. The TS5's too slow. He doesn't have a shot. So I'm going to go, okay, I'll just take this little shot. That's a miss. Bad aim. Completely behind the guy. I'm probably still spotted, so I'm going to turtle up. There goes one Artie out. That means there's only one that can fire for the moment, and I'll come in here and we'll kill this guy. Just a really bad effort all along. Needed to shift the casemate over, get the shot out in front of that guy. Also, I probably should have just kept running at the Chaffee. Let's just close the distance right there because I also let him get behind buildings. And now I'm being overly cautious with the artillery yet again. The TS5's moving up. If I'd have kept the Chaffee busy, so let's just talk about this in this tactical sense. If I'd have kept the Chaffee busy and lit, the Arty would have been paying attention to me. The TS5 would have come up over unmolested and potentially helped me kill this guy. Unfortunately, he gets spotted, and I'm going to miss again. Another bad shot. Just completely straight at him. Shot goes behind him. And the same argument, all right? 2 shots just came out. They killed our TS5. He gets very miffed about this. I do get messages from him. I'm not going to worry about him, but I do. And same thing, I should have been pushing in to get this daggone Chaffee. So I put myself in a bad situation, right? In this case, I've kind of really prioritized the Meatshield thing. Trying to use my team, not using my hit points and smart moves to help win the game. More of a defensive, screw those people. I will use them to try to get shots. And that's kind of what I was talking about mostly in the Meatshield video, is the fact that that can be an appropriate tactic at times, but taken too far, or as a default, that's what I always do. It can cost you wins in situations like this. We'll watch the rest of the video. I get a bit lucky right here. I run all the way back to the same bush because I've screwed up. I think there's some comments coming up. Not all undeserved. Not all undeserved. I say, well, I missed 5 shots. I probably should have just not said anything. That's an excuse. And the reason I missed the 5 shots and didn't kill a guy is because I played that whole sequence poorly. That's just a fact right there. Now, maybe I push in and get nuked by the Arty. Now we get the vet thing going on. I don't know. That seems to be something that's on everyone's mind these days. Apparently they get triggered if you've got the vet badge or whatever going on. I don't really care. It's fine. Doesn't bother me at all. The Hummel pushes in. That's kind of interesting. Now, I really could be moving up again to go help this Hummel because he's probably going to get some lights in there. That's where I have to be a smartass and say an animal doctor. And then somebody comes back and says something actually pretty funny. The Hummel actually pushes up. That helps us. I'm able to nuke him with an ammo rack. Fantastic. I don't get lit. That's nice too. They don't have very good view range on that thing. So we've killed him. We've got 3 minutes. Time is becoming a bit of a problem, but it's not a huge problem yet. I noticed the Hummel actually moves through that whole area and doesn't light anybody, so I need to get moving. Nah, vet badge, RNG, Klaus, IQ player. Alright, got it. Low-hanging fruit. Alright. I don't know why they think that's an insult. It's like, whatever, man. Pretty funny stuff. Pretty funny stuff. Shout out to Klaus. Alright, moving in here. The Crusader. Now, I see him moving from east to west. So I do note that. It looks like he's making a runner. I'm really hoping I can find this Super Chaffee. Can I get lucky? Is he out here somewhere? Oh, look at this. Alright, so I'm going to do what I should have done the first time. I'm going to try to keep him lit and push towards him. So off he goes, and finally RNG is going to give me one back right here. All my crappy shots are going to be made up for by another crappy shot that hits. Alright, there's that Arty shot. Arty hit. I'm going to burn both kits right there because I need to keep moving. One, I don't want to be pinned anymore, especially if that second Arty I'm sorry, the second Arty's dead. I don't want to be pinned down, but I don't want the Chaffee to get away. And he makes a mistake because he probably could have ran out of my view range, but he tries this. I think he's actually trying to cap right now or get into one of those bushes. And that's just a lucky shot. Looks like maybe he was making a runner, attempting to get around the corner. So he probably should have just cut right and headed down. So now I'm going to turtle up. I got 2 minutes. I noted the Crusader was going from east to west. He could have stopped. He could have gone back in the corner. He could be almost anywhere on this map based on how fast that thing is. Remember, I think that's the one that drives backwards. So I don't have a whole lot of hope for this, but I'm just going to kind of push through the middle. And if he does get a stab at me, I'm hoping, one, I spot him, and two, I actually get a shot on him. The problem is he moves backwards so fast he can skedaddle out of any shots pretty quickly. So I'll just come along here. If I get lit, he's probably up in the edge up there somewhere. Might even be hard for me to get up there and get a shot, but at least I might know the direction the shot comes from. Use this building to get a little closer, and then we'll cruise out into the open, just begging for the Arty to take a shot at me. We got 4 kills, 2,300 damage, but it's the same argument, not argument necessarily, but discussion I had in the original Meatshield video. Yes, we're doing okay. Yes, we have a chance to win, but at what cost? What's the opportunity cost? What's the other possibility if I'd have played that middle part, less Meatshield and more aggressive in support of the TS5? We can't know definitively. That's one of the things about debriefs, where you debrief to different scenarios or what you thought would have been the right answer in it. You don't know how the execution exactly would go. You don't know if that's exactly how the game would have been won. But you do look at it with an eye towards, how could I improve that? What was probably the better idea right there? And so we come around here and we find this guy, and he's hanging out right here. Now, just for you guys who may be trying to run away and survive a battle for a draw for whatever reason, he probably should have kept going. If I was him, I don't think I would have stayed this close to the cap. I probably would have tried to head down towards their cap. It's the chess game, though, because he may think, well, maybe he'll think I'm trying to come around behind and he'll go this way. So, you know, I don't know. This thing's fast enough, though, and my tank's slow enough. Even if I'm cruising through the 1-2 column in the middle here, along the F-line or whatever, if I get spotted, you're fast enough, you might actually be able to dodge behind things. I don't know. He's turtled up. He actually has a chance to derp me and kill me, so possibly that's part of his calculus, is I'll hide out in this little nook, and maybe I'll get the last shot on an aggressive guy. That's also a possibility right there. So back to what I was discussing, though. It's a case of I can't know exactly that would have worked, but I think it would have been a way better idea. And it was a better chance to keep the TS5 alive and in the game, which would have been nice. Now, I don't want to trade me for him necessarily. Maybe, in some situations, for the win, possibly. I.e., I push out, kill a couple, and he gets the last kill. All right, great. You know, that's one of those things. But being so extra cautious in not helping that guy, I think cost us a tank, at least, the TS5 right there. And earlier, if I'd have gone down there, maybe some hit points off of him as well, or possibilities for us. So it's always opportunity cost when you're talking about these things. All right, let's watch the end of this thing. I'm trying to get a shot on him without him being able to... I'm like, oh, shoot. How did... What? I just took a big old hit. I think he hit the ground right there. All right, so real quickly, I do have HE loaded. I do not want to face hug him with HE and splash myself. Splash is not as big necessarily as it used to be, but I do want to have some separation. If I'm face hugging this guy, I'm probably going to eat the splash. This is pretty funny because I don't kill him. Oh my gosh. All right, so it went into the side, kind of a lazy aim, into the tracks. I got 146. It wasn't a pen, so I probably should have been aiming a bit more careful, and I might have just nuked him. And then off he goes. So he's going to try to make a runner with that reverse speed, which is not bad. Looks like he might be even about as fast or faster than me. All right, there we go. So we end up killing this guy. I was going to say I took it off of auto aim, but I don't think I did. And we nuked this dude. He doesn't get away. I needed to get that shot off because that thing does reload relatively quickly, and he probably wasn't too far away from having another snapshot at me right there. So a very close game. 5 kills, 2,710 damage. TS5, nice job with 6 over there. There you go. So a follow-up to the Meatshield thing. And back to some of what we talked about at the beginning with the interpretation or everyone's definition or perception of what Meatshield means. Just to be clear for me, it means the whole spectrum of that kind of gameplay. It can be tactical in a situation, or it can be kind of a gameplay mindset for people. That's basically how they play. It is also attached to the map, to the type of tank, etc., etc. There's a lot of stuff going on in there. As a general rule, I try not to do it, and I don't particularly like it. Clearly, I did not do that here. And that's what's great about being a human, is you can say a lot of things, but there's a lot of hypocrisy going on, right? We're kind of malleable in a lot of that stuff. So there you go. A little mea culpa for everybody. That's all I've got for today. Thanks for tuning in. Let me know what you think down below in the comments, and we will see ya.